Good afternoon, evening YouTube. I'm Chucky2009, and this is going to be sort of a quickish vlog type video. Basically, all we're going to do is we're going to put longer welding leads on one of my welders, and I'm making this video just for anybody that's ever wondered about such things. I know when I was new to welding, although what we're going to do is really simple, this isn't God-given knowledge. So, if this is something you're thinking about doing, maybe you can watch this video and it will guide you through it. So, if you want to put longer leads on one of your welders, the first thing you're going to need are some longer leads. There's 1,012 places on the interweb that sell such things. I bought this set, which you're about to see, which is 100 feet of American-made 1/0 welding leads. That's just 1/0 for $210 shipped to my door from some company. Second thing you're going to need are some connections for your welder. More on this later. And I also got mine off of eBay. So, I'm just going to dump these out of the box here. I will say I don't recommend buying these things from a local welding supply store because they always kind of, so to speak, bench over on them, and on the ones you buy online it'll work out a-okay in my opinion. So these are some El Cheapo ones, but this is I believe they call it the Lenco style. Alright, let's talk about plugs. So this right here is my preferred style of welding lead plug. These are DINS plugs. I believe they're DINS 90s because they're 90 millimeters or something across here. No, they're not 90 millimeters across. I don't know. I think they call them DINS 90s for some reason. But anyway, this is what I like. Why do I like it? Because it works really well. You just slide these things in here and they lock in really firmly, just like that. And then you pop them loose. They come loose really easily. Just, they work really smoothly. And they're extremely, extremely, extremely common. This is our Miller plug. Goes right into the Everlast machine. Snugs up nice and firm. Same thing over here. They're really standard plugs. These two companies use them. Lincoln Electric uses them. ESAB. Basically everyone now standardly uses these plugs, and so if you have a random welder and you're looking to put extra leads on it, this is probably the style of lead that I recommend you try and track down. I'm sorry, style of plug. Now, what if your machine doesn't have quick change plugs like these, which you just twist and pull? What if it's something like my old Hobart Stickmate, where the leads actually ran through the front of the welder and then into the welder, and they bolted directly to components inside the welder? You don't see the end of the leads, you just see where they come out, and that's it. What do you do in that case? What I would do is I would get a female one of these plugs and I would attach it. I'd cut off the Stickmate's leads like maybe 6 or 8 or 12 inches from the front of the welder, and then I'd get this female plug and I'd put it on the lead. That way I can take my male plug and put it in there and crank down on it, and we got a good strong connection. And you can do that with, you can get just a female DINS plug or a female Lenco style plug or whatever style plug you want. But you basically just have to hack off your leads and stick one of these bad boys on here. So, what are you going to do if you have multiple styles of leads? You can get adapters. You can get like a Lenco to a DINS style plug. You can make a pigtail cord, which is where you take a foot of lead and you put your DINS plug on this end, and then you go to the other end of the lead and you put your Lenco plug or whatever it is you got to do. Those are really easy to put together once you find the right plugs, which isn't that hard. So let's get these wired up and try them out. Oh, something else I should really add is you can see my two leads are two different colors, and the reason for this, as you can probably guess, is because you can just glance at a tangled, string of leads and you can tell which one's your ground and which one's your stinger lead. And I was willing to pay a couple extra bucks for this. 1/0 was perfectly good for the length that I need. That's the other thing. The longer your leads are, the heavier leads you need. And this is something for you all to keep in mind as well. This is really short, so if I'm welding something that's like literally right next to the welder, I might not want to deal with unrolling, about 100 feet or 50 feet or whatever this is from the, from the spool, when I could just take this 10-foot lead and pop it in and turn it and be in business. So what we're going to do is actually pretty simple. We are just going to fish out some of these dope connectors here. And these plugs are really, really simple to figure out and put together. Now that I said that, watch me go and screw this up. But you just have this little screw here, which pulls out, and when that's out of the way, then your main metal piece, which is usually like a brass, it looks like, comes out from the lead. Now this looks like a really nice plug because it's got two of these things which clamp down on our lead. Most only have one, and this obviously is going to have a lot more clamping strength, so our plug is going to be a lot less likely to get ripped out from the lead. I really like that. I did not expect that, especially with the cheaper clamps. So all I'm going to do is take this thing and put it on here like that, and then we're going to need to strip about that much of this lead here, and we'll just use the old K-bar for this because I don't have a wire stripper that's close to this big, and I'm gonna try not to gouge this thing too bad because I don't want to lose any copper here. And you all can see how this goes together. I mean, this isn't rocket surgery. Hell, even I could figure it out when I was in high school. So there's hope for anybody who wants to do this. It shouldn't be too hard. And then, come on, fit in here. If these plugs come out, it's not a big deal. I don't know why I'm working so hard to avoid that. Yeah, all right. See, and everything just kind of goes together just like that. So now, yeah, I'll get that copper thing in there as far as she goes. And I'm going to try and squeeze this together with my hand here. I can't believe these things have two friggin' doobly-doos on them. That is awesome. I've used much more expensive plugs that only have one. I'm going to remember that and go back to that guy if I ever need more of these things. Yeah, and then I'm pretty much just going to crank down on this with the included hex wrench. Until it's nice and snug. I'm not going to go too crazy, I just don't want this thing to come out. So then I'm going to go ahead and cover up the small amount of wire excess that I kind of over trimmed for a little bit. Then we line up our screw hole and we put this here screw back in. Pretty good to me, YouTube. Thing's good. All right, so another one of these things fell apart, and I've discovered if you don't use one of these little copper things, they stay together a lot better, at least in my experience. Maybe I just suck with using those little copper sheet things. In any case, I got these on here pretty good, so let's go ahead and work on the other one. Yeah, do that. So we got our stinger leads set up, and these things go together nicely. There we go. They go together all the way nicely. Yeah, I gotta get used to using this style of plugs. Honestly, personally, I care for the Dents plugs a lot more. I've never actually seen a machine that came new from the factory with these Lenco style quick connects. However, I will say that just about every engine drive I've ever run in the field or seen in the field has had this Lenco style So for some reason, they seem a lot more prevalent out there, and dense plugs seem to be common in the shop. But, you know, what do I know? I know that this looks pretty good to me, and let's make sure everything goes together the way it should. And the way this comes, much like, to my knowledge, just about every other engine drive welder out there, is you just have this stud that comes off of here, and then you got to get one of these things, which mine happens to be the same Lenco style of plug that everything else just about you've seen this video uses. And this just goes over the stud, and then you tighten it down with that nut, and that's all there is to it. So let's make sure these El Cheapos work with the El Lencos. Yeah, look at that. Goes right in there. I like it. Alright, so that's the welder end of our stinger lead. Then we got the negative ports over yonder ways here. That works there too. So there we go. Now, one other thing, I got my stinger lead here, and unfortunately this one isn't also red, but hopefully it'll be far enough away from the welder that I'll be able to tell which is which. Now this stinger lead is probably about 20 feet long or so, and that ground clamp is only, what, 5 or 10, something like that. And something you might want to consider, if you're really trying to get as much out of every last penny you can, is to make your ground lead a little bit less long than your stinger lead, you know, make it a little bit shorter. Because in theory, you know, if you're working on something, you just kind of set your ground clamp and forget it, but you can use the extra length on your stinger lead to go all around it and then do whatever you need to do. So, yeah, hopefully this video covers about everything. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have fun and stay safe.